Hey, you ready to learn how to pluck your wig like a pro? A perfectly plucked wig is the key to a flawless wig install. In this plucking tutorial, I'll be showing you how to take your wig hairline from this to this. Following these simple steps, you'll learn how to perfect your craft and be the best to ever do it. Without further ado, let's get into this plucking tutorial. All you'll need is tweezers, a comb, a wax stick, hairspray, a edge brush is optional, clips are optional but recommended, as well as a mannequin head. If you don't have one, you can just use your knee and a white towel underneath. I like to start off with evenly placing the wig on the mannequin head. Starting with the wig with a less dense hairline makes the process much easier. Once the wig is placed, we're going to now secure it with the wig pins. As I secure it, I like to give it a light tug, making it easier to reach all of the hairs effectively. As you place the wig, try to place it in the shape of a natural hairline. Make sure to place the wig nice and flat for an effortless pluck and to prevent sliding as you pluck. Next, we're just going to go in applying the wax stick all across the top of the wig so we can prepare to hot comb it. We want to get the wig nice and flat so we can pluck effortlessly. Try not to be too heavy with the product and avoid getting it on the lace, as we don't want our lace to get oily for the future install. Make sure to always bleach your wig before starting. I'll have a tutorial link for that as well. Now we're just going to go in and hot comb the wig, getting it as flat as possible. Make sure you let your hot comb heat up for at least 10 minutes, having it on full heat. I like to lay the hot comb all the way flat, sliding all of the teeth through the hair. This allows every strand to get laid for the most flat, seamless look. Continue this across the whole wig. Repeat as many times as you need until it's as flat as you want it. The flatter, the easier it will be to pluck. If needed, go in with a little bit of hairspray, brush it through, let it dry, and then continue on. You can also go in with more wax, just make sure you don't get it too oily and keep it in one area. Now that the wig is all flat, we're ready to pluck. We're going to start with plucking 1 to 1.5 inches behind the hairline. This prevents over plucking and pulling too many hairs out in the front. You want to start with holding the front of your tweezers and holding them in a pinching motion. Every time you pluck, you're pinching. If you don't pinch, the hairs will just rip out. Be very gentle and take it slow, as you do not want to rip a hole in your lace. As you can see, I'm holding the hair out the way with my hand. And every time I pluck, I'm going 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes just 1, 2. As you pluck, you don't want to stay in the same spot. You're going to pluck into place and then you're going to jump around to the next place. For example, you'll pluck 1, 2, 3, 4 in a spot, and then you'll move about 0.5 centimeter to 1 centimeter and pluck in the next spot. Then you'll do that back and forth in that area until you feel like it's thoroughly plucked. After plucking a few times, you're going to want to brush the hair out to prevent over plucking. You see how I plucked, left a gap, plucked there. And then now we're just going to go in that gap and pluck between that gap. This prevents over plucking as we left space between the spots. The goal is to make the hairline look as natural as possible. I'm plucking and pinching 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I move away from the area, start somewhere new. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just bouncing around. Now that area looks natural and plucked, so we're going to move on to the next. Staying away from that hairline, moving backwards, about 1 inch away from that hairline. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And you'll just continue that motion of plucking a spot, leaving a gap, and then plucking between those gaps. And to keep the hairline looking natural, sometimes you'll move a little further back, sometimes you'll move a little up in those spots, but you never want to over pluck, so you'll continue to brush the hair out as you pluck. While plucking, make sure to stay away from the side part and the middle part too much, because you don't want to over pluck those areas. Now that area is done, we're moving on to the next. Just watch as I continue the motions of the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm leaving gaps between each spot and then going between those gaps frontward and backwards, sometimes closer to the hairline, sometimes further from the hairline. Just continue to brush in and out. Never too heavy-handed. Always be very gentle with your hand. Pinch motion, pinch motion. You want it to look like a natural hairline. Notice as the wig getting more plucked, I'm doing less plucking motions and I'm jumping around more. I might pluck 2 times and then move farther up or then move further down. The hair is starting to look more and more natural now. As we're approaching the top of the hair, I'm just parting out where side parts will be on each side so I can prevent from over plucking those areas, because you never want to have a bald side part when it comes to styling the wig. Notice how I continue to stay away from the hairline, and I'm going to stay away from that side part area. I'm switching from going to plucking 3 times and sometimes plucking 4 times in this area. Pluck, 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 jump. Pluck, 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 jump, pluck, 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 jump, pluck, 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 brush, brush. Don't want to brush too much hair out. Then I'm just redefining that part, make sure I'm not getting too close. Now I'm moving farther back as I already plucked the front of the hairline nicely. I want this to look as natural as possible. Now that I've plucked a lot, I don't have to pluck as many times in these areas because I don't want to over pluck. Now we've got a nice natural hairline. I'm just brushing that hair out, taking a look. Notice how I'm plucking. I'm also plucking in a slightly downward motion, like I'm plucking straight back, but also slightly downward. Always be mindful of your part. You don't want your part to ever be bald. Also, this is the side up with my dominant hand. I recommend to always start with your dominant hand side to make it easier. Leave a little bit more extra hair for this area so you can always just go in and pluck later if you need to. Now that area is looking all natural, we're going to move up to the front. Notice the difference. And now that we're at the top, we're just going to go ahead and part out the middle so we can avoid over plucking the middle part as well. And we're going to flatten that out just so the hair is out the way, but we're still going to keep it pushed back and out the way. I'm also just redefining that side part so I know to never pluck that area. Now for the top, we're just going to go in with that same motion of staying an inch behind the hairline and just continue with the same actions as before. This is going to give a natural hairline effect, and you can even go for a widow's peak motion if you want as well. We're just going to pluck everywhere but 1 centimeter from the middle part. In time to time, we might pluck a few hairs there, but not too much. Continuing my motion of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, hopping around. Remember, you can always underpluck, you can never reverse overplucking. Remember to continue to brush your hairs out so you can always check and make sure you're not overplucking. Stay away from that hairline because you don't want it to ever be too bald. Pluck. 1, 2, 3, 4, skip. 1, 2, 3, 4, skip. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm just jumping around. Sometimes I go to the front. Sometimes I go back to the side. Sometimes I go to the middle. Just continue doing that so you can see clearly on what's being plucked. Now that everything's plucked and looking very natural, I'm just going in and making some finishing touches where I feel like I just want to remove a few more hairs now that I know I haven't overplucked yet. And for this part, I'm plucking a little slower just to make sure I don't pull out too many hairs. Now I'm just moving a little farther back because since the front of the hairline is already nicely plucked, moving further back will allow me to pull out more hair in a natural way without pulling out too many hairs in the front. I'm also leaving bigger gaps now because a good amount of the wig is already plucked now. So I'm just plucking and then jumping big spaces. So this is how it's looking. Notice the difference. Like, that's giving a real natural hairline. Now I just pulled out the edges so I can see that the edges look natural and we've got a good amount of hair. And I'm just plucking out a few more hairs. Once again, moving far back and just jumping between big gaps just to take out a few extra hairs. This step is optional, but I wanted a really, really natural look for this install I was about to do. But if you do want to continue to rewear this wig, I would skip this step and just leave it where we ended it before. Now I'm just going to go in and brush those hairs right back in and flatten it back out. And these are the results. Do you guys see how good that looks? That looks so natural. And I meant to say too, when you finish, just slide the wig over closer to your dominant side to continue doing the same thing on the opposite side. Then go in with some hairspray and just brush it back and mold it, and you'll get this flawless natural look. That is the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a review and tag me if you did tune in. If you found this helpful, thank you so much for watching. Please follow me on all platforms at Sia25.